In Metalworkers Union NUMSA have come to the fore again. NUMSA President Cedric Gina has confirmed his resignation. He says conflicts within the union and unfair treatment are the main reasons for his decision. Gina says he sent a letter of resignation to national union structures yesterday and is now awaiting their response. The resignation comes as NUMSA threatens to leave the tripartite alliance and possibly Cosatu. We are joined by SABC senior journalist Yolisa Njamela on the line. Good morning, Yolisa.
Good morning, Evan.
These latest developments, what do you make of them, Yolisa?
Well, it's actually quite interesting, Evan, but you must remember that this is not the first time that Gina has been, in fact, at loggerheads with his own union, NUMSA, which is the largest affiliate of Cosatu. You remember, even before Mangaung, he was the lone voice in terms of wanting to support the current president, President Jacob Zuma, when they were gunning for the presidency of the ANC. However, he clearly was able to lobby the rest of the leadership of NUMSA and was able to ensure that the support is from the union, not per individual, to support the current president of the ANC. But it's not the first time, and it is becoming quite clear. You know, the writing was on the wall when he, in fact, a couple of weeks ago, he criticized his own leadership when Vavi, the suspended General Secretary of Cosatu, addressed a NUMSA gathering. And it had been clear from then on that Vavi, one of the conditions that he had was not to address any unions while he's on suspension. That is, of course, according to the president, Dlamini. Cedric Gina went ahead and did that. And after that, he was forced to apologize. He says later on that he apologized because of the sake of unity. But it had become clear at some point that something will give.
Yolisa, tell us, it seems as if this alliance, or the movement rather, is a little bit stuck. Is there an inability of them being able to move on past the Vavi saga?
Oh, the Vavi saga has become a quagmire, if you like. I mean, it's the main issue now that is pitting the leaders against one another. There was ruckus in between the leaders in Cosatu for the longest time. I mean, you remember again, running up to Mangaung, there was no absolute unity. You remember also while Vavi was still the General Secretary, not suspended, he had asserted himself as the one leader who does not want to be co-opted, and that's the word they keep using, or do not want to be co-opted into the leadership of the ANC, the tripartite alliance. Dlamini, the president of Cosatu, is one of those leaders who are indeed in the NEC of the ANC, and Vavi, together with his allies, have always been adamant that the best is to deal with worker-related issues. Do not meddle with leadership, because then there won't be any clear lines to check whether who deals with what. But also, if I were to mention that, you must remember that yesterday he made some utterances in the media as to how Ivan Jim is allegedly doing this for his own sake and not for the workers. And when I'm saying this, I mean the return or not of Zwelithini Vavi to his post they're pushing for. He says, it doesn't seem like Ivan Jim is doing this for the sake of the workers. He's doing it for himself and his cronies, which is why he, on his way last year to somewhere with the president of the ANC, President Jacob Zuma, had in fact touted that Zwelithini Vavi would be the right candidate for deputy president of the ANC. This, Gina says, shocked him. And that is when he realized that this is no longer about workers. Now, what we understand was that he was going to be suspended for the position that he had taken by talking to the media. So we understand that he jumped first. Unity issues have become paramount with Cosatu, but it would seem that the workers are really not united in any of these matters, including worker-related issues.
Yolisa, just to clarify in conclusion, do you see them accepting this resignation, and how do you see the next couple of days and weeks play out towards the end of the year?
Well, you must remember that Gina has been quoted already having said that a number of affiliates, or rather unions within Cosatu branches, rather, wanted him to be relieved of his duties already. This is before the mutterings came out from the leadership of NUMSA. So it would seem that they're quite tired of what he's been doing or what he's been seen as doing, and that would be speaking outside of the collective of NUMSA. Whether they agree or not as a collective, it seems that the rest of the leadership is annoyed with him because he comes out and talks to the media instead of dealing with his grievances within the union. Now, what seems to be happening moving forward is that, first, the NUMSA leadership, we understand, is meeting, deliberating about this particular issue this morning. In fact, it started last night. But it would seem that Gina has decided that he's now moving on. He says he's hurt by the fact that now he has to deal with the issue that he might have, or he might be seen as someone who has dropped the workers, and that's what he wants to champion. But for the next few months, it seems like the cracks are going to be wide open. Remember that NUMSA is holding their special congress on the 13th of next month, and we're expecting to know whether they will pronounce the pull out from the mother body federation, which is Cosatu, or not. But it's interesting times ahead for the union and for the federation.
Yolisa, thank you very much for that insightful contribution this morning. A breaking, developing story. I'm sure she'll keep us updated as to how things develop.